Hello, welcome back to the channel. So with 2.0 being I believe a day away, at least when I'm recording this, I wanted to talk a little bit about Remembrance and the potential problems that I could see with it. Some of these are going to be a bit more that I could just see for the first couple of patches, although some of these are more design problems that I could see. The first one being from a comment that I got, which I actually do kind of agree with, which is that summon is such a broad thing that it might end up just doing what other paths do, but just better. You know what I mean? I mean, we can already kind of see this with Remembrance Trailblazer, basically just being a Harmony character, but with Summon, you know? And that Remembrance Trailblazer seems like they're going to be absolutely insane. At least they're free, which is good, but you can kind of see where this can lead to if a lot of Remembrance characters just end up being way too similar to other paths, that it might end up leading to a lack of identity, and them just kind of siphoning characters away from other paths. You know what I mean? Now this will kind of depend on how the Memo Square mechanic is actually going to pan out, because I don't know if it's going to end up just being fully exclusive to Remembrance or not, since we are getting two characters next patch that aren't Remembrance. But we'll just have to see, because I don't look at leaks, so we'll have to wait and see. But another problem besides that I could also see, which I think is just becoming a more problem in general, is action creep. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I mean just the enemies getting more and more actions to the point where the older characters just can't keep up with how fast the enemies are. I mean, we can even start seeing this with enemies like Hule, who just get an insane amount of turns, and basically just kind of if you're not running full up, then it is way harder to fight him than if you were running full up. Obviously, you can beat him with basically anything, but it's gonna be way easier if you're using follow-up, you know what I mean? Because even if you only have two Remembrance characters on the team, that would give you basically two extra characters worth of actions. And if you combine that with someone like Sunday, who can give you full action advance forward, and even future supports as well, it can start to get kind of insane, the amount of actions you might be able to get. Now, the reason I do think this could be a problem is that it might lead to Hoyo just making, like I said, Hoyo just making enemies be super fast, so the enemies can actually deal with the Remembrance characters. But then if they are built to deal with the Remembrance characters, then the older characters might just not be able to deal with them. You know what I mean? Now, obviously this depends on how many Remembrance characters we get, and two, how the summon mechanic is gonna work, and obviously how a lot of the enemies are gonna be. Because at least the enemies that we see for 3.0, I think are probably going to be fine. They seem to be a lot more, at least the boss seems to be a lot more AoE focused, so I think that's not really going to be a problem yet. But I don't know, I could definitely see it being a problem in the future. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is a bit more of something that I could just see being a problem for the first couple of patches, which is just that I think Remembrance is probably going to be very restrictive, at least at the start. Now, obviously, this makes sense because it's a new thing. We're not going to have, many characters and much stuff for it at the start. But, I don't even mean, in terms of characters restrictive. I mean, even in terms of, light cones and stuff, we're only going to have, what was it, 6 or, 5? I believe, or, I think 6, because there's 3 3-star ones and then 3 4-star ones. I mean, at least I think one of them is free, but even that, if you're going for Aglaya, you're gonna probably want to have 2, because you're probably also gonna want Remembrance Trailblazer on that team as well. So you're probably gonna want 2 light cones. So you might end up just having to pull on the weapon banner to actually be able to get the light cones that you want. Now, one good thing about this is that it does seem like the 3-star ones are actually pretty decent, at least as far as 3-star light cones go. So you could just use that until you eventually just get a better one. But at least I think at the start, just team building for Remembrance is going to be very restrictive, especially since the only real summon support we have right now is Sunday, and that's kind of it, So I could definitely see that being a problem, and also the fact that we don't really have a summon sustain yet either is definitely, to me, this obviously is going to fix itself as we get more characters, but I definitely think that this is going to be a problem at launch. Now, I do just want to reiterate that obviously this is all just, speculation. All of this could happen, none of this could happen. I have no idea, because, I don't work at waivers, I don't look at leaks, so, I don't really know what the future holds. And even with the problems that I have mentioned, I am still very excited to try out Remembrance and see how it pans out. And I am very excited for F4S, and I hope you guys are as well. I would definitely be making a lot of content on F4S and just a lot of content in general. But yeah, what do you guys think about Remembrance? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.